Welcome. Okay. Whew. Spirit saying, are you ready? I'm going to toggle over and say hello just one more time, and we're going to jump in. Hi, everyone. Very quiet here today. There's an owl that lives in the woods near my house, and it has been calling all morning. There's a lot of bird energy happening here, and that is just, it's very unusual for the owl to be here awake in the daytime. And Marie Antoinette, you were talking about Athena, and I think you probably know this. You know, one of the things, the way that depiction of Athena receiving sacred energy, she had an owl. Okay, Spirit's telling me, yes, you know. All right. And it sat on her shoulder, and it whispered into her ear from the mystical realm. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the aspects of the eclipse, and Spirit's telling me then sort of jump into some of the relationship that has to do with Moonrise Cottage. Part of what's happening for me, it's time for me to come out of the closet. And if you don't know, I'm a Virgo person with Aries rising. So it's the Aries in me that carries the male energy signature and drives my life forward. And that little Virgo person is very shy and wants to hide all the time. So the universe is pushing my buttons. It's time for me to be here in that aspect, the feminine aspect of my being. So let's jump in. I'm going to toggle back to the cards and just speak. What I did is I did make some notes. Some of the things that are streaming through to me, the Spirit's talking about the unfolding, and some of the intellectual stuff that I don't know because I'm not an astrologer. And I thought, I guess I have, okay, Virgo, right? I have a responsibility to be correct if possible. So I made a couple of notes, and then I just let the spirit energy that is swirling around, that's informing me about the way the reading is going to go forward today. And so I'll do my best to let those intertwine. The other thing I want to say is that one of the things that I experience is astral travel, and the way that I recognize that is happening to me is I begin to feel extraordinarily, on a human perspective, the feeling is exhaustion. And what I've begun to realize is when I begin to sort of cross over to go out to have an adventure, I cannot keep my eyes open. So I've been feeling that way all morning. So I finally just let myself lie down. And this is what happens. I have to go lie down. I cannot remain conscious in my human form. So there's a little bit of that going on. So bear with me. I'm going to try to be present in that way for this stream. Spirit's laughing, saying it's too bad that I can't hear you, so that if I really go out and I'm gone, somebody could say, hey, wake up, and reel me back. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to acknowledge that, okay? So I'm going to toggle back to the cards, and I'm just going to go through some of the main topics that we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey. Spirit's telling me it's time, and if you looked at the live stream where I talked about, how Moonrise Cottage came to be, of course, because I'm the Virgo part of me held back a lot of it. So I'm going to just step out a little deeper today because it's relevant to the energy that's streaming through to me and therefore to you. Okay, so here we go. Hi, Tani. Yes, Marie Antoinette, I am coming there. Spirit said that I'm going to come there and we're going to wash feet together. And one of the things, sorry, everybody else is a little commercial. One of the things that was streaming through Antoinette when we did, Marie, I'm sorry, when we did your reading, there was a vision, and you actually said it at the end of the reading. I was seeing you sitting at a beautiful little chapel. In the light of the sun, you're sitting outside the front door, and the ocean is visible from that place. And you are creating a sacred space for people who are leaving or entering the church to sit and have their feet washed. And I think you and I are going to do that together. And I'm very much looking forward to having you wash my feet for all the reasons we talked about. Okay, so again, acknowledging that I'm pretty sure most of you have looked at the astrology and understand all the many things that are happening in the cosmos around this moment that's about to arrive here. When I was having my little bit of travel, Spirit saying we wanted you to come out into the universe to be with this energy for yourself, for the live stream, and because there are things that are going to happen here at Moonrise Cottage during the eclipse. It's true for all of you. An eclipse is a moment of illumination. Things come to an end. A culmination happens and new things arise. And the seeds that we've been planting begin to grow, especially on a new moon eclipse. It's a partial solar eclipse on the day of the new moon. So as we send the intentions that we are meant to send, I said that wrong, that we are meant to seed in the days of the new moon so that the energy can wax with the cycle of the moon. Farmers used to do that. They used to plant on the cycles of the moon. So whatever your seeds are, plant them. Allow yourself to image that in your mind so it becomes real, and write it down. Whatever your desire is. And Spirit's talking about the deepest desire, not the surface desires. This is a moment for us to come into the energy, the flow, the sacred flow of energy that is about that kind of the deepest desire that we have in our hearts. So this morning, what was coming through to me was Spirit saying the overarching message about these moments is magnetism. That which we experience as the energetic highway that causes us to want to connect to the flow of energy that comes through to us. We all feel it, each in our own way, because of your astrological set point. You experience it a little bit differently. And Spirit's talking again about the tapestry. And Marie Antoinette, you and I are going to have some more time together. There's a lot of messaging coming through for you, okay? Just so you know, I'm saying it so I don't forget. So this moment of magnetism is about, of course, love energy. And it is about the expression and the creativity that love energy brings. And as you know, I'm sure, this love energy moment will carry us forward for the next 6 months while we stand witnessing all the things that are happening. It is really important to stay firmly in the energetic place in which your heart, okay, Spirit's talking about the organ of vibration, feels the love energy that is coming in. That is the place where we're meant to focus. So I'm encouraging everyone, don't look at the news. Spirit's saying, allow yourself to stay there in that place, right? So Spirit's chattering in the background about the experiences that I've had in some of the sacred temples that I've been in around the world. And when you go in that place, well, for me, I can only be in one set point. And I'm soaking like a sponge the energy that is in that place. And I stand there and I feel mesmerized. It's one of those moments, Spirit says. So allow yourself to know that it's a moment when you can really embrace and welcome into your being the intensity of the love energy as it is vibrating to us through the set point of Cancer. One of the most emotive, loving, vibratory set points here on the earth. It's a very important moment for the rise of love energy and the creativity that comes with love energy. And so if we think about the metaphor of that here on the planet, we're talking about, oh, there's so much streaming through. All right, so in a sense, we're talking about the Cancer energy flowing over the earth. It's about feeling the unconditional love of the universe. Okay, Spirit's telling me one by one we will speak, meaning the energy set point that we inhabit as a spirit being. I think it's time for us to really go deep and experience ourselves that way so that we can speak and the creativity of what comes through to us can begin to manifest. That's what the tapestry is all about. And Marie Antoinette, Spirit's really talking to you today. Whew. I want to thank you because, one of the purposes of the tapestry is to draw each other out, to stimulate each other so that we awaken by virtue of the beauty and the effect of being stimulated by the energy that we are meant to draw to us for our awakening. And part of what was happening, Marie Antoinette, when we had our reading, Spirit's, it's been, I've been holding it back, like I said. So Spirit's talking a lot with me about the tapestry. This is the moment that I'm in. This is the moment that is coming to culmination here at Moonrise Cottage, so there can be a culmination and a new beginning. So I started talking about the tapestry with you, and because I've been holding it back, the power of the love energy that was coming through was cracking my heart chakra open. And I started to cry, and I thought, no, this isn't the moment. Hold it back. So we're going to talk about that too. All right. So in this eclipse, the new moon is conjunct with the sun in Cancer, all about nurturing, loving, family-oriented energy, the family of humanity, and all the beings Spirit is saying that reside here. So I'm showing you the energy of the cards because just Spirit wants you to just look into that while I speak a little bit, and then I'll toggle over and we'll have a conversation, okay? So just so you know, I cannot see the chat, and that's why I'm not responding if you're answering me questions, okay? So when we have this partial solar eclipse, there's so many things about this moment. It's a supermoon. The moon, in this moment of the partial solar eclipse conjunct with the sun in Cancer, is closer to the earth than it usually is. So this energy of the Cancer set point can flow, Spirit's talking about, like the tides, the way the tides pull the water element up onto the earth at the beach, Spirit's talking about. That is what's happening generally. So if you can envision that, Cancer energy being drawn in, there is a close proximity, and much is going to come of that. It's also happening on the North Node. So that intensifies again more than usual. If there's any way in these next days, once we reach the eclipse and we go forward towards the full moon, the next eclipse that's coming, if there is any way that you can envision yourself being the tide and feeling the pull of the moon, the Cancer energy, coming so deeply into this place where it is so desperately needed. And, given the turmoil that we're seeing all around the world, it's not just in the States. We're talking about Lilith, the moments of darkness, the pull of the dark feminine. There are lots of things coming through. If the folks who are in the Cancer set point really focus on those things and become a vibratory aspect of that which is coming through and that which is evolving and meant to take us forward for the next 6 months, you will literally be assisting the tapestry, and you will be adding a spark from your energy set point that you have the ability Spirit's talking again about the tides and the moon. The way the tide comes in, pulling that in to this earth place, Spirit says, so that we can feel it. Spirit says if you come to a place of deep quiet, you'll be able to hear it. It does have an audible sound. It's one of the reasons I use music to transmit messages and thoughts and heartfelt notions. Okay, the other thing that is entirely fabulous, there's so many fabulous things about this moment. Pluto at 20 degrees in Capricorn, standing across the sky from Cancer. Cancer, your power and your energy is coming into its moment, and you're going to have the next 6 months. So on the day of the eclipse, whatever you can do, and I know we're all so busy, we're working, we're taking care of families, life happens, there's going to be a lot of disruptive energy around this eclipse, and we all know there's things going on with Mars and Mercury, and it's just Spirit saying it's just kind of a mess with a purpose. Spirit's talking to me about my Virgo nature. And so, yes, it's a mess with a purpose. There's going to be it's going to be hot. Let the water of Cancer flow over your being. Cool the heat. Bring you to the place where we're meant to be focusing. And allow the other things that are being pulled up because of Pluto to just do their job. So Cancer, I cannot wait to hear from the Cancer folks about, okay, Spirit's telling me do another live stream to ask Cancer to speak. So if you're here and you're Cancer, know that you are coming into a moment of great power for your energy set pointing. For us on the earth, that power has to do with love energy and the flow of love energy and the conductivity of water as an earth element and the way it cycles through the sky and flowing over the earth and coalescing, Spirit says, into great bodies of water. So Spirit's saying, magnetize, visualize the ocean, magnetize that with your desire for love energy to be flowing over the earth with the power of Pluto, the great destroyer and the rebuilder. It is in this moment of Cancer and the eclipse and Pluto in Capricorn. Obviously, it's about transformation and great change. The way Spirit's saying pursue. The way we pursue relationships will change forever. And we will be able to hold this magnetism that's coming up in this moment. Spirit's taught there's a lot of stream coming through, okay, guys? So, pardon me, I'm just going to jump from place to place where Spirit's taking me. So, think about yourself as a magnetic being and what it is to be a magnetic presence. And what do you draw to yourself? How do you manifest? And we see the Dreamer of Growth on the bottom right. Right? So in this journey, the last step on the human realm, it's about magnetizing. Being able to see both ways across the veil. That's the other thing. Spirit's saying the veil is really thin in these days of an eclipse. We will be able to magnetize ourselves with the energy vibration of Cancer. And how you carry that forward, given your own set point, is something that we are going to begin to learn about. Spirit's saying that's one of the reasons the eclipse is coming through this way. Because we can carry our own energy, but we can also utilize the energy of the tapestry. Once it is fully formed, we will be able to tap into that. Spirit's saying download, take from what we need, and apply it to a situation that we are engaged in, Spirit says. So, somebody remind me about magnetism. There's more to say about that on the relationship pathway, and Spirit wants me to speak about it. Okay, so the next piece of this eclipse, not only do we have Cancer primary in the energy that is flowing, setting the tone We have Pluto in Capricorn, the great changer, bringing changes to this realm. So now we have water energy flowing over the earth, while the power of Pluto brings that energy set point into its power. It's extraordinarily beautiful. Also, we have Venus stationing in Virgo. And Virgo is all about bringing symmetry. Spirit's saying Virgo is the organizing principle of the three earth elements. That's why Virgo is mutable. We're flexible. And yeah, people say, oh, Virgos are fussy, whatever. Look under the surface of that, please. Begin to do that with all of the energy set points. What is deep under the surface? I am a fussy pants. There's a reason. I know something about organizing. Spirit's saying I know how to organize the energy in order to create a sacred space, in order to bring balance into my life, and I understand the deeper aspects of why that is needed to be able to, Spirit's talking again about the tuning fork. So we have all these three aspects, and it's about bringing forward the love energy into its power, and then bringing symmetry, the ability to creatively express what we are learning and what we have learned about love, about the earth energy, about spirituality, and the ability to begin to download and organize the information that's coming through about love. Okay, Spirit's asking me to transition over. And Marie Antoinette, Spirit's talking about Athena, right? Aphrodite, the goddess of love and war. What does that mean? Right? These are symbols for us. And you said you love symbology, so we're gonna have some moments, you and I'm pretty sure. All right, so if you think about those three things, Cancer is the tide, the driver of the tide of love energy, washing up on the beach, washing into the earth element in these moments from the cosmos. With the assistance of the eclipse, Cancer, it's your moment. Spirit saying, do it, right? I say that all the time. It is in part because of what comes through me, but it's also because of my life experience. Do, Spirit saying, it. And you'll all know from within you, what does that mean? I don't know. If I connect with you, I may learn, but I feel it. And that's what the tapestry is about. So when that energy comes, when you have a moment like this in your sign, allow it to come. Allow it to happen. And join it with your desire. That's how we bring things forward. It is about human desire. It comes to us from our heart chakra. And that is the receptor in the human set point, Spirit says. All right. So, toggling back for a second. So when we think about Venus in Virgo and the way Cancer affects a mutable sign like Virgo, Virgo is here as the element able to go with the flow in a certain way and to organize the energy. Virgo can handle, I had a dream once about being in a tsunami. Spirit's reminding me, maybe I'll talk about that. We have the ability, because we are grounded in the way we are, to bring things into an organized principle and to handle the intensity of the flow of energy because we're grounded into the earth. So with Venus and Virgo, the intention, the spiritual intention in that is to get the assistance of the Virgo vibration in order to bring the symmetry that is meant to come. Cancer, just bring it. Just bring the tsunami. We'll handle it. Spirit says, you just bring it and we'll cook it up, right? So there's a lot of planets and trines and oppositions. There's almost like Spirit saying, everybody's joining in this time, and we are all activated in various ways. So, the Venus in Virgo is about bringing the symmetry to the intensity of the energy that's coming in. and being able to, the ability to creatively express what is being learned about love, about the earth energy, about spirituality. And it's about downloading and organizing the info that's coming. So think about that. Again, Spirit's talking about the tapestry. Think about all those many concepts. As you approach the days of the eclipse, on the day of the eclipse, Spirit's saying, if you so desire, you can, I think, I'm going to toggle back. Hi, everybody. I think on that day, if you ask for some dreams, you will likely get them. And I often do. I often, when I go to sleep and there's something percolating, I say, all right, well, can you just bring it to me in the subconscious, bring it to me in the dream time, so that I can understand a little more and move the energy forward in whatever way it's meant to go. And I try to remain unattached. I'm human. I have desires. Sometimes I try to push the energy, but mostly I know deep down, what is it that the desire brings forward? And so if you can connect in the dream time to the sacred energy that comes into you, you'll get some information. I believe on this eclipse, I know I'm going deep. I've already started the astral travel. I can feel the moon pulling on me. It's awesome. Okay, so a couple more things. I made some notes. I just want to make sure to go through them because I think once I start streaming, we're going to have a conversation together. So everything having been said, there are grand trines that are happening in the same moment. One of the grand trines is an Earth trine. So we will have Uranus in Taurus at 2 degrees, Venus in Virgo at 3 degrees, and Saturn, the taskmaster, in Capricorn at 4 degrees. This is bringing forward the ability to cement, here in this place, a very unconventional relationship. And to make it really solid and firm and secure. And bring forward the ability to express love. That's what this is about. That's why in the dream time, the things that I got, were about the return of the goddess. Somebody remind me to talk about that too, or it'll come forward another time. I've been waiting for this moment for, I think, most of my life. Energy and thoughts and notions that came to me in the dream time. And then 4 years ago, when there was a moment like this, I had another moment of activation. Spirit's talking about that. I'm going to tell you about that. Remind me to tell you about the bee people that came. There's all kinds of things. To illustrate, Spirit's saying it's about illustrating the ability to become available to the vibration and to take it up for yourself. Utilize that. Organize that. Bring it to a place of power. Absorb the power inherent in that and be able to express it. Spirit's saying, can you imagine what would happen if we began to express love energy here in this place as a regular thing? And so I'm suggesting if you don't do that, Spirit's saying, pull up your pants, meaning, just pull yourself together and practice and begin to tell the people that you don't tell that you love them. And, you can preface it with, hey, I'm just practicing. Whatever feels comfortable to you. I did that. I do it all the time now. And I try to help people remember that expression also adds to everything you're doing. And it's going to activate, Spirit saying again, the tuning fork of your own vibration. Allow yourself to begin to speak about it. Okay, so the other thing I love about this moment when we have this trine and this ability to bring power to the expression of love in relationship to the notion of the return of the goddess. It's a great day to get married on the day of the eclipse, or to propose, express your love. So, let me come back so you can see me. What does that mean, right? So, if we are able, Spirit's talking about the tapestry, the reason it's a great day to get married because this moment actually creates a new chart for us going forward. And if you're solidifying a relationship and you get married on a day like that, that's the birth chart of your marriage. Who wouldn't want that, right? So Spirit's talking about the birth chart of the love energy as it makes this incredible transition, comes through the Cancer power point, assisted with Pluto, in order to wash over the earth with this earth trine coming forward. And all the things we need are there. So Cancer, understand that your element in these moments is, okay, Spirit's talking about it as the igniter. But in fact, okay, Spirit's talking about growth hormone. The essence of water, the water element flowing over the earth, bringing the energy that is needed to allow new growth to happen. In the firmament, Spirit says, let me toggle back because Spirit wants you to see the cards. So we have a new birth chart. That's what Spirit's talking about. If you take those metaphors that you'll see, if you go out and you have a day, Spirit's calling it a day of YouTube gluttony, and we all do it. We want to know. So you watch 100 videos and you try to pick out the nuances and you want to know what's going on in your own life. Remember this. Remember this place that we are all standing together in these moments, taking up a form of power through the Cancer vibratory element, with Pluto standing across the sky, bringing forward the power and the ability to share love energy with the entire world. And that's what the tapestry is about. All right, so Spirits, I guess I'm going to toggle back. Spirit's asking me to share a little story. You know what? Before I do that, I'm going to go into my chat room and just take a look at the chat, okay? Hang on a sec, guys. Hi, little miss. Yeah. Love energy, it's the most wonderful thing I can imagine. Tani, your sun in Aries. I'm going to go backwards through the chat a little bit, folks. Yeah. And if you have a partner and you bring your partnership into the sacred realm and you begin to understand that your partner is feeding and learning from your energy set point. There's a lot to say about that. I'm not going to do it today. Yes, a partnership is meant to bring forward to you the energy that you need in order to reach your own destination, whatever that might be. The energy of your partner, if you think of a relationship as a garden, your energy's partner coming into your life, especially if you make a commitment, the point, Spirit's saying the all kinds of words coming through about the point of that, the responsibility of that. It is in order to ignite your partner and put a spark of energy in their garden so that they can blossom and grow. That's it. And I know, we want to have babies and we want to have a family, all those things. But on the sacred realm, that's what it means to be in partnership. Spirit's talking about the twin flame, and I guess we're going to get there. I've been holding that back too, because part of me, the shy Virgo in me, I don't want to talk about it, and I don't want to get diverted by that notion. So Marie Antoinette, you're talking about Athena. She was a master in weaving tapestry like the mystical spider. I like that. Hi, Sherry from California. So, primary feathers. I was thinking about your paintings also last night. I think what was happening is I was connecting to the tapestry of people that um, have begun to gather here. So I was sort of a little bit in the dream time, touching base with everybody. I don't know if you felt it. Um, so, Primary Feathers is a painter. She makes incredible artwork, and what came into my mind was the painting that you did about the phoenix. So that's been on hold. I've been waiting to use that painting in one of the readings. So maybe that's coming forward because that popped through. So, and also Lilith. Interesting. Thank you for noting that. Hola from Mexico. Hi, Janine. Soft Rain says hello too. Hi, Darcel. Thank you. Marie Antoinette, I don't know when I'm going. I've got some jobs to do here. As part of the culmination that's happening, I'm really feeling, I was expressing it last month, I can't tolerate being tethered to a job anymore. So I'm going to be working on letting that go. It's a little frightening for me because I'm a Virgo and Virgos need security. But it's coming. I can feel it. And I think I'm going to be released to go and begin being with the people who are working on activating the tapestry. So I don't know if that's going to be a year's worth of travel. I don't know what's going to happen, but something is going to happen. I'm definitely coming to you. And where is that church, Marie Antoinette? Can you tell me where is that little church that's by the sea? You told me it was a Christian church that was built on top of a temple for Athena. That's where we're going. Just to let you know, because I can see the place. Merkaba, you got the message too. Yeah, it's a portal. So, yeah, obviously, haven't gone there yet. Tiny New Zealand 2020. Wouldn't it be fun if we all went together to be with the ancients that rose up into that place? Katrina, you're near Sydney. Okay. Keep in touch, okay, please? Okay, let's set it up. Primary feathers. All right. Okay. I think. Just give me one more moment. Hi, little miss. Watching from the UK. You guys are going through your own upheaval, aren't you? There's just so much going on. So, the upheaval that's coming as a result of Pluto, that's about fear. That's about changing power structures. That's about shift and change in all the ways we're seeing it. Because, Spirit's saying, preparing us for this moment that's coming forward. Okay. I'm going to toggle back. We're talking a lot about the activation of the tapestry and what that is meant to be, how we can all join in that effort. And, I've been talking a lot about the effects of Pluto stationed in an earth element. So now in this moment, we have Cancer bringing the tide of love energy, literally being the conduit. Cancer. Actually, you know what? How many Cancer people are here? Let me toggle back to the chat. Any Cancers here? If you're a Cancer, raise your hand. I'd like to know how many Cancers are here. So, the Cancer energy is the conduit through which the energy, the spark of love energy that's coming in these moments arrives. And it has the beautiful assistance of Pluto in order to bring the power of love energy into its full stream. Okay, primary feathers, you have Cancer moon. Gustavo, she's bringing the Kundalini. Yes, she is. Janine, you're a Cancer. Okay, great. Okay, so Spirit's talking with me about the tide and how it is to be sitting in our place here on the earth, as if we're sitting. So all these metaphors are coming through. I'm just going to go with it. All right. So in these moments, meaning the eclipse, and when the planets are aligned in certain ways, it's a moment of energetic, vibratory intensity. And if we can allow ourselves to be still and be calm in those moments, then change happens. And we can allow ourselves. Spirit lately is using the word inherit a lot. So I'm just going with it. Allow ourselves to inherit the energy set point pattern and have that come inside of us to spark our own being, initiate our own journey into the next moments of whatever that is. So, Spirit's talking to me about my own set point and about Venus and Virgo, and talking about Athena, Aphrodite, all of the images of the goddess, whatever it might, however you interpret that, there are a lot of facets. It's a prism of energy in the feminine portal, right? As the portal. And we are, here on this earth, those of us who walk in a feminine body, we are a portal. So, last live stream, my friend Mark asked me, I opened it up and I said, just ask me whatever question you want. And Mark asked me, how did I know? And what was the moment in which I could no longer deny myself? And it was a moment like this. Some of you may know the story. I talked about it last year, but Spirit's saying this moment for me is the culmination of another moment that happened, I think, 4 years ago. And the initiation of that moment, Spirit's talking again about Cancer, the tide swept in when I was a teenager. I began to download. Before that, I had just I would know stuff, and, I didn't pay that much attention to it. I never said it openly, a little bit, a little tiny bit, but Spirit's saying I never gave it its due. I was just experiencing it. Like, why do I know stuff? I started having prophetic dreams, and I started seeing my own future. I started seeing pictures of the places I was going to go and some of the people I was going to meet. And I didn't know that that's what was happening in the beginning. Eventually, I figured it out, right? So, Spirit's talking about dreaming your destiny. Okay, ask me to hold this up. So, when you dream your destiny, allow the energy to, again, inhabit you, and allow yourself to inherit the energy and just let it do its work. You may not understand it, you may not know, and there are reasons why we are not fully knowing. It's because we're on a pathway of development, and just like when you learn to read and write, you can't start with sentences. You have to learn the letters. You have to be able to develop the concept. So that's what was going on for me. I think that's what goes on for all of us. So when I was, I don't know, probably 14 or 15, started having a dream, a series of dreams that continued until the days that I started building Moonrise Cottage. And they were prophecy dreams. And they were the same dream would come over and over and over and over. And I'm talking about for 35 years. It went on while I was developing, while all the things that were happening happened. So Spirit's talking about when we come to these moments, meaning moments like the eclipse. It's a culmination because that which has been working on manifesting is able to arrive. And then the new cycle begins. All right, so Spirit's telling me, illustrate the story with this dream. So I'm going to toggle back to the cards, okay? I had a dream that came through, and it was about myself living in a little cabin all alone, isolated out in the woods in another time. And I think probably it's a past life regression, maybe. Or maybe, there are things about time is not linear, so maybe it's something that's happening in the moment, but in a different time, so to speak, because the way energy works. Anyways, now I'm getting into Einstein. So the dream, I'm just sort of being with my energy. I'm in this place, and I know that it's very, especially during the time frame that was presented in the dream, very unusual for a woman to be all alone without the protection of a man, without the protection of society, being a hermit, basically, and choosing that willingly. And so I kept having this dream about myself living alone in the woods. And I was there because I didn't feel at home in society at large. I didn't fit in there. That was the message that kept coming through. I'm in this place because I get to be who I am here, and I don't want to go live in town. And God help me, I don't want to get married because 200 years ago, you know what that was all about. No, thank you. That's what sort of the energy that came through the dream. So in the dream, Spirit says, once upon a time, I was watching myself live out my days. And then one day, I look out into the little clearing in front of the cabin, and I see a man coming out of the woods and walking up towards the house. And, these are the ways I express it now, right? The Aries in me just went and got my shotgun and stood on the porch and said, who are you? And what are you doing here? You gotta love the Aries energy, right? It's funny. And in a way, it's funny. And because I have both of these energy set points, the way they work together sometimes brings a lot of comedy into my life. So, this man comes, and I'm literally pointing a gun at him. And we have a conversation. And he is traveling along his own road. And he needs some solace. And Spirit says he needed just some loving attention. After a conversation, he said it was wartime. He was a soldier, and he was, Spirit saying, done with that. So it was a period after a war had happened, and this man came. He was just trying to heal himself, and we now know, we would say PTSD. So he was suffering, and he couldn't go back to the place where he had been, and things like that. So I said, well, okay, you can stay here. Go set up a camp out in the front, in the meadow. You're not coming into my house, just so you know. But you can stay. Just, it's quiet here. It's a safe place, and don't even think about messing with me. So I go in, I shut the door. The man sets up his campsite. He builds a little fire, and it just kind of stayed like that. And so, I went in the house, I shut the door, and, put the blockade against the door, the rifle's there. I wasn't taking any chances. And what was happening to me in the dream was that I was certain that I somehow knew this man, and that I was having the experience of love energy coming into me, into my heart, into my mind, into my physical body, a flood, a literal flood, completely overwhelming me. I didn't know what to do with that. I was frightened, and I thought, oh, no, I'm not doing that in my life. I want to be here by myself. So the dream sort of just kept coming, and over the next couple of years, it began to sort of, the details would come. So eventually what happened, just to make the story a little shorter, winter came. And he wasn't ready to go yet on his way. And I said, all right, look, you can come in the house. But once again, I want to be really clear about what's going to happen here and what's not going to happen here. I'm inviting you in so that you can rest, continue to rest until you're ready to go. So this man came in the house. We used to sit by the fire at night and just talk, hang out lots of time, silence, no talking at all, just being together. We helped each other in all kinds of ways. Um, the love energy that was streaming into me continued. I never spoke about it. I knew that it was reflected back to me. And so what happened was, I was feeding this person. Um, I was getting assistance that I needed, firewood and hunting and things like that, right? So Spirit's calling them allegories, right? So the blending of the male and female energy. What happens when we ignite each other? What happens when you come into the presence of a being that ignites you in some way and brings forward a certain piece of your destiny? So those are the kind of things that Spirit wants to talk about. So anyways, okay, Spirit's telling me to toggle back to the cards. I had that dream, oh my God, thousands of times. And when I started to build Moonrise Cottage, it stopped. And I didn't even notice because I was really busy. And it didn't occur to me until the spring of 2014. I suddenly remembered, I thought, you know what? That's weird. That dream stopped. Huh. I wonder what that was all about. The Spirit says the reflection of that story is in the cards, in a sense. Okay. So we are having globally a moment like this. So in 2014, I was in graduate school and I was getting a master's degree. And suddenly something came over me. There was a moment when Uranus and Pluto, no, it was Uranus and Venus, and Pluto, I think, in Capricorn. There was some kind of a trine. Something happened. And I felt my energy begin to shift and change. And I could feel that something was coming near. And I was actually living somewhere else. I was obsessed with coming back to Moonrise Cottage. So I went to my advisor and I said, I promise you that I'm going to get my work done. I was very near to graduation. I had to get my thesis in and do my thesis defense. So I said, look, there's something going on in my personal life. I have to attend to it. Spirit saying, like Dorothy clicking the heels together in The Wizard of Oz, I had to come home. I knew. I was like, oh my God, I don't know why, but I'm going because I've learned to respond to these things. So I came here. There were tenants in the building. They had left, and I began, Spirit's calling it resurfacing the energy and preparing to come back here. Spirit says, in the flesh. I had been here all these years, sort of in spirit, keeping the flame alive, Spirit saying. And I was just working, doing stuff. And it's kind of Spirit saying, like the shaman who showed up when I was trying to find the well. This is the type of thing that unfolded. I was doing some finish work in the kitchen. And finally, at long last, getting the countertops put in and etc. And so as part of that, I needed to have a new sink. So I belong to a collective in this area. It's called a time trade. So you can do jobs for other people. There's no money exchange. You exchange your time. So I went to the time trade and I looked for a plumber and I said, okay, let me contact this person, and made an arrangement for that person to come here and install the sink. And he arrived here on that day when all these conjunctions were happening. And at night, the morning before we were scheduled to meet here, I had a very intense dream. I won't go into it. And I realized that I was dreaming about the person who was about to show up to install the sink. And some of it was a little scary. Really intense energy, somewhat volatile. Person who had committed violence, like I knew things, So I got up out of bed and I thought, ooh, what is happening right now? What's going on? I sort of checked in with myself. I checked in with my spirit guides, and part of the dream was this creature who was wounded and raging in a way that was unstable and dangerous was coming. to Moonrise Cottage. So I thought, well, all right. So the other piece of this dream was that there was this very deep connection between the two of us, and this person's energy had taken the shape of a grizzly bear for the dream, so I could understand, and came raging through the door in the dream time, bringing the full power of the rage and that Plutonian energy of destruction, and walked right back past me. I was laying in my bed. I had a balcony, and I felt the creature crawl up the balcony and just bang the door down. And in that moment, I knew I'm dead. This is what it feels like to be prey, because I can't. There's not even time to think about it. I just know I'm dying now, and that's not what happened. So what happened was this creature runs into my bedroom, stops at the end of my bed. There's eye contact that happens. In that moment, I see the entire cycle of this being's soul journey, this time, while here on this earth now. And so, again, just the love of compassion. I jumped out of bed. This animal ran across the hall, and I ran after it, and just in time to see the sky, the air open, and he turned around and looked at me and stepped through, and it closed. I was like, what was that? So I get in my car, I'm driving up here, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I must be crazy, because I know some things about this person, and I felt the love in their heart, and I felt the sadness, and I felt the wounding, and all of it came. So I drive up here, and I was late because of this, because I was freaking out a little bit and checking in with the spirit guides and going, all right, so is this a message to tell me stay home, don't do that? And I just felt the love energy, and I thought, no, there's something else going on. I better go up there and see what that's all about. So I come up the driveway, and it's a little twisty and windy. I came around the last corner as I was coming up the hill, and there's the man, and he's sitting under the male power symbol on the porch. I freaked out. I thought, oh, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't get out of the car. I know too much. What is happening? And I just, kind of put the brakes on the car, and I just looked at him, and I thought, all right, just quiet your energy. Don't go in fear. Gather your power. So I pull up. I get out of the car. I come to unlock the door, and I look at this man. It's the man I've been dreaming about for however many years. I think I was 40. So a long time. And, people talk about this kind of event when they're talking about twin flames. Something happened. Every cell in my body, all my chakras burst open, and I was fully present. Same thing was happening on the other side. We didn't talk about it because it was so intense. And I thought, okay, I know everything about this person, and I've been having this dream. So, I sort of flipped into the other side, and I was deeply in the mystical realm. So I was seeing him with the dream vision, and he came in. I was very quiet. I was very careful, because I knew he was a volatile in a way. And we just began to converse while he was installing the sink. And as it turns out, he had been in Afghanistan for 6 years, taking on the energy of Pluto. And it destroyed him. And he was wandering through the world with severe PTSD. And he started to tell me, there is no past for me. The past is gone. There is no present, because I can't be here. I'm so dissociated. And there's no future, because under these conditions of life, I can't have growth and change. My life is over. And so he was in the process of, I think, deeply considering ending it all. So, in that moment, the energy for me coalesced, and I knew. Finally, I was able to acknowledge myself and understand that I could never, ever again ask myself, well, am I making this stuff up, or what's going on with me? Because I was still, part of me was still resisting that, right? So I, kind of like in the dream, I was like, okay, so that was instructions for me. So I will relate with you in this very intense way. I'm not available. I cannot allow myself to be available, because that's not what this is about. And to have that kind of processing going on while feeling so much love streaming through my heart, I've never loved anybody like that. It's the love of compassion. It is the love of the universe. And when you feel that, you feel awestruck, right? So Spirit's telling the story because this is the moment we're in. So prepare yourself. You may have meetings like that. We are meant to stimulate each other into awakening. And one of the challenges in those moments and the responsibility is to utilize that energy for the purpose it is intended. And it is intended to help us all have a moment like that, right? So some people would say, oh, that was my twin flame. I don't know, maybe, right? He was not available for a relationship. I was not available. So Spirit's talking a little bit about becoming centered, being deeply in your own center so that you can understand the purpose of the moment and not divert the energy of it to try to fill up your own empty spaces and your own need. Understand that there's an awakening coming. We're going to experience this more and more and more as we go deeper into the energy spectrum that is coming. So, all of these realizations like, oh my God, that was a prophecy dream. I always wondered, what was that all about? So it was about a fellow traveler on the road and what it was we both needed. We each had a certain set of energy that would help each other heal, ignite, awaken, and go forward on our path. He was not meant to stay here. I knew it, and I knew that there was something very profound happening. So we walked together in the dream time. I had dreams about him for over a year, and eventually all of that communication happened. And there was some very heartfelt communication about the experience that we were having together. And he told me at the end, Spirit says at the end of the day, right? So when that was sort of over and the last dream came, he basically told me, when I was in Afghanistan, I thought I was going to die. This moment happened. And he wrote a little poem and he said, I saw you. And I turned and I looked into your eyes. And you just looked at me and said, it's going to be okay. Come on. Or something like that, right? I'm making a euphemism out of it. But so that's the moment we're having. When we see the goddess, the portal, rise in the sky through the Cancer energy, it's that kind of love. That is the love our hearts are meant to vibrate with so that we can ignite each other. And that's what this tapestry is. I, for some reason, embody that in a certain way. And it is why so many people who write to me or responded to me in the early days of this channel. I got hundreds of emails from all over the world. I literally felt love energy come into my heart when I saw your face, when I heard your voice. We all have that capacity. And through the power of Pluto standing across the sky from Cancer in the moments of this eclipse, that is what's being ignited. I have no doubt, because it's a reflection of my own path. I understand the moment. So, if you watch the music video that I put there, that's Santana. It's that moment when the male and female energy come together in order to transform each other, join their energies together. All the past being washed away because it's an eclipse, and what is meant to happen can rise. And so if you know the story of that card, I should have pulled it. Let me see if I can find it. I don't have it on the desk. But in the moments of this eclipse in Cancer, it's about the return of the goddess, the rise of feminine energy, the archetype that we utilize to think about love energy and the portal and all those things that I've been talking about. So Spirit wants us to have some time to ponder that and begin to feel it and begin to connect to that, because we are entering a time when we are going to have these experiences more and more. And I do have them. And after that, what happened for me, I did come home. I re-inhabited Moonrise Cottage. I knew with certain clarity what my mission was. Finally, I was like, all right, I can't deny myself anymore. I got to get hold of it, and I got to figure out what to do with this. People started showing up. They found me. I don't know how they found me. People showed up. One time, a friend of mine was in the grocery store, and a lady tapped her on the back, and there's a little story to that, but basically said, I drove here from Mississippi for a certain kind of healing, and I think you know the person that I'm looking for. I got the phone call. So I knew, right? I'm having the moment finally where I'm coming out of the closet in these ways, and it's time for Moonrise Cottage to finish that cycle so we can come in the full light, into the full light of day, open the door for people to come. Okay, so thank you, Spirit. So part of why I'm telling that story, those series of stories, is I'm a little frightened, right? We all might be a little frightened. What is going to happen when people come here? I have some inklings. I don't know. I'm Spirit saying stop saying that. I know a few things. So be prepared. It's another piece of, if you're going to come here, be prepared for your own journey and be willing to be activated. So I love that this is happening. This eclipse for me, the combination of the energy that's coming into me with Venus and Virgo and Pluto and Cancer and all of these things, all the trines that are happening in the series of eclipse, it is a culmination. It's a culmination of a certain period of my preparation. It's true for all of us. And the next phase of the engagement of that energy is rising. And that's why this notion of the return of the goddess, the male energy, Pluto here in an earth sign, standing across the sky from Cancer, that is the rebalancing of the sacred male. And it is time. And now those two energies can join together. I'm so grateful that I had that experience because I understand. And a very deep philosophical, spiritual basis, what that is all about. So that I can shepherd people through an experience, open my door, allow them to come, engage with them in the deepest way possible, and understand that it is the flow of love energy. That is what this place is a container for. And some other things, Spirit says, not for today's topic. All right. So I'm going to toggle back. I'm going to look at the chat a little bit, and we'll go through the cards. Okay, let me just look. Oh my gosh, it's 1:30 already. All right, I'm going to have to be quick. I'm going to ask for your love energy. There is a family coming here this afternoon at 3 o'clock. They just had a horrible tragedy happen. So we're going to talk with the young daughter that was a member of this family that passed away in her sleep. Something horrible happened. And, again, it's happening in these moments. So if when we're done, would just send me a little love energy so that the healing that's meant for them can come forward, okay? All right. So let me take a look. Yeah, very exciting times, huh, Lauren? Yes, Tani, it's time to come out of the closet with the love, isn't it? And to just, and not be, Spirit saying, and not be bashful about it. Just inhabit that wave. Spirit's now talking about surfboards. If you're out in the ocean and you get up on that wave and you just stand up and you ride it. Spirit's saying things like that. So Janine, yes, healing and igniting. So Linda, you're talking about your moon child in Cancer. Hi, Donald, welcome. Don't worry about being late. You always arrive here at the perfect moment, Spirit says. Gustavo, I'm reading your message. You know what? Yeah, it's the yin and yang, right? Spirit's been talking about it for a year and a half. And, I've been thinking, oh my God, people have got to be sick of hearing this. But there's all kinds of reasons why. And so now the reasons why it's rising. Spirit's saying, so prepare yourself to feel the tsunami of the love energy and allow it to inhabit your being while all the crazy upheaval of Pluto goes forward, and you know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to say it. And give your energy to the love vibration. Please do your best to refrain from engaging in the negativity that we see in the news and the newspapers. And I'm not saying don't be aware, but we have a moment when we can really manifest and begin the phase where we join together as a literal tapestry of energy to manifest what it is we want. And, no matter what your set point is, no matter what your beliefs are, deep down, the human instrument wants to vibrate love energy. That's why I've been following it my whole life. I felt it. And I traveled all over the place trying to find it. And, when I finally came home to myself, that's when I was able to be in a place, I suppose, in my life in general. Janine, you're a Cancer. Thank you. Okay. It's about being available to the energy, right? So that whole dream prophecy and the event that happened here and the way I engaged with this other human being, we were both travelers on the road, coming home to ourselves, needing a certain type of healing, needing to have some evidence of ourselves rising up. That's what it was all about. And for me, it was a training, Spirit says. I have to be a very ethical, grounded, thank you for being a Virgo, right? Person who can carry the fire of love energy and transmit it. Spirit saying, warm people's hearts. So when I began to get those messages from all around the world and people could feel the energy that was streaming through me, I was very overwhelmed. And it was another teaching for me about the reality of the tapestry and the fact that we can use our energy, our love energy that vibrates within us in whatever way it does, and transmit it. That's the purpose. And so what we can imagine, what it is we want. Gustavo, you're in the house of Capricorn. I'm letting myself get distracted. I apologize. So, we're coming into the time when we can begin to allow this love energy, the power of Cancer. It's so profound to me. So maybe those folks who are Cancer at some point, we're talking about live stream. Maybe there's some events coming forward. Share the love that you feel. We all know that you're beautiful and that you have, so much to give the way you are emotive. Think about those notions that are human based. And now think about it in the spiritual realm, right? So that is what is coming into the earth. And a little story about how I experienced that energy as a teaching to me in order to be with you because of the way I vibrate. And begin the process, like I said last month, of opening the door and allowing the energy set point. Spirit talks to me in ways that are not human-based. So I always have to translate that a little bit. Okay, so Spirit's talking about the energy set point. The experience of having a place, including, Spirit says, including meeting another person, right? So Spirit's talking a little bit about the twin flame thing, right? We're going to have those experiences. Please begin to understand the purpose of that so you don't get stuck there trying to get your personal needs filled and miss the point of that alignment. So just like the planets are lining up and the moon and the sun and all of the astrology that's going on, there is an alignment that is coming, and it is going to inhabit the human vibration, and that is what is going to bring change. And in those moments, that which we seek to manifest comes forward. So that's the purpose of the tapestry. Um, okay, let's see. I'm just looking at the chat for a sec. Okay, so primary feathers, you're talking about how people feel afraid of expressions of love. Yeah, it's true. Because you know what? And it's interesting because, again, Spirit's talking about twins flame. It's in essence, we have not come to a place yet where we can say that free of any strings. Because we are human and we do have desire and we have needs, it has become wound up with that because of the lower level of that vibration that we've been able to work with. It's been about love relationships, right? We're taking a turn now. We are going to grow out of that. I mean, we still need to procreate. I'm not saying people aren't going to fall in love. Of course, it's going to happen, right? So, but it's shifting, it's changing, and I was lucky enough to experience that in my own life, and then have the time to be here alone to process that and understand what that was all about, and why would I be having this experience in this particular place that is a container for those types of things. Hi, Mary Love. Don't worry about being late. Hi, Lauren. So big shift for Sag. So yeah, you know what, Sag? Part of what Spirit was telling me last night was that, and it's been coming through the cards if you've been watching your readings, Sagittarius is the element, the fire element that is attending to everything I've just been talking about. And your energy is attending the shift and change as a representative, so to speak, for the embodiment of love energy as a felt sense of passion with a very altruistic desire attached to it. All right, so let's go through the cards. Let me toggle back. All right, hang on a sec. Okay, given everything I've been talking about, there we are, right? Male and female energy set point. Join together in the full light of the sun at the time of the eclipse. See how furtive they are? Shift and change, growth. It is the feminine energy that is leading the way, and the male energy set point responds to that. They have vessels at their backs. They know there is much to be discovered. All right? So we're at a place of culmination, and we're also at a place of new growth and more mystical travel, and there's the water element. This is a courtship of skill that is beginning to develop in this place. Spirit says, under this light. Love it. Next card, the beautiful male energy set point. Stepping forward in order to meet the purpose of the love energy through their own set point and their spirit in the background, to have a new foundation here in this place, the foundation of battle. What it is to be a spiritual warrior, driving your intention, your love intention, forward in this place. So one of the things I love about this moment and this idea of the return of the goddess, the portal opens. It's going to be open for 2 weeks. And actually, there's another eclipse coming in August. So we'll be talking about all that stuff when the time comes. Understand that we have been traveling like the dream I went on and on about. That's the experience we're all having. Traveling through our lives, feeling something coming through. We feel it. I know that we feel it. Marie Antoinette, Spirit speaking to you. You know, it's part of what draws you into what your purpose is. And it's true for everyone that is out there. A lot of you folks I've done personal readings for, I know your stories. It is the common theme. It's one of the common themes. All right. So beautiful feminine energy rising through an eclipse of the moon and a partial eclipse of, pardon me, I'm saying it wrong, a partial eclipse of the sun on the day of the new moon. The feminine energy returns. I've been getting this message too for a long time. I've been consciously preparing myself for the return of the goddess, which of course obviously means the return of the sacred male energy. And there it is. That's the energy that we inhabit going forward in these moments because we're moving from a new moon to a full moon. Okay? The portal's open and we use the male pattern of our energy to step through and send the energy forward, do the work that is meant to bring that moment to its fruition. Okay? So, no surprise, more male energy. Look at the male energy, right? In the reading. Very interesting the way it is winding its way through the reading. So, when the so Spirit's saying when the goddess returns, making herself available so that the male energy pattern can seek that out and come to meet that, ask for the energy, the love energy, ask for the ability to go into the portal. And in the story of that card, that's kind of underneath it all, underneath the fairy tale, that's what it's about, right? The male energy has to approach the portal and ask for what the desire is in order for transformation to come. And the male energy in this moment is about love energy. It's so fantastic. I'm kind of giddy. I can't even, I'm just so excited about this, all right? So there's the male energy pattern, another courtship. Being able to be in courtship with the sacred feminine now, in a balanced way, with the knowledge that the male energy set point has come into. Beautiful. Sacred. Spirit's talking about destiny again unfolding. And there again, there's the male energy. All right. So we have actually, you know what? There it is. I'm going to toggle back to the cards. So look at that. That is the card I was just showing you is the foundation of art. Right? The art of the courtship of this knowledge. The art of courtship with the sacred feminine, who in these moments is leading the way forward in a sense. And above that is another foundation card for the sacred male energy. And above that, if you look up the column, the liberator of devotion. That is the purpose of the foundation you're on. Obviously, that's the sacred feminine portal. And if you look at this card, let me hold it up for you. Okay, you see the shaman carrying the head across the portal in all these mystical ways. There's the sacred feminine. Okay, Spirit's talking about the moon card. So this card, Spirit's telling me, that embodies all those notions with the moon card. All right. So, it is the return of the goddess, but it is stimulating the sacred male and stimulating finally the turning of the yin yang so that all the things that are meant to develop can happen here now. It's a meeting. Spirit's talking about the meeting in the sky, right? Like the meeting that I had in the dream time and then finally here on the earth. So I could experience, talking about Pluto, so I could experience the thunderclap of that moment and never again could I say anything other than I am here. And you know what? I wrote a poem about that for this gentleman that I was engaged with, about the dreams that I had, about that person's soul journey and the effect that it had on me. So that was part of my training. I have to be able to stand here solidly grounded in my place in order to be able to work with these energies that are meant to come here to assist all the unfolding that's going to happen. I have to be a stable Spirit saying, that we're talking about stoneware for some reason. It's talking about the container, right? And in these cards, you see a lot of notations of the vessel. So that's the purpose. And, when you step into whatever you discover is your purpose, everything just unfolds. And then you have to learn how to be in your spot. What do I do with this? Understand that if you step in, you stimulate the energy and it will draw to itself. So for me, because I'm blessed with some clairvoyance, I've been dreaming it. I didn't know that I was dreaming about Moonrise Cottage, but in the moment when it finally happened and the energy calmed down, I thought, oh my God, that's what that dream was about. it was about me coming into my destiny. It wasn't about having a lover. It was not, I mean, so whenever that energy, when the yin yang comes together, something happens, right? We all have the capacity to ignite ourselves that way because of the energy that comes into us. So that's going to be part of my job going forward, I have no doubt. And Spirit says there's a discussion about that through the cards. All right. So the purpose, of course, no surprise, is to manifest the destiny that we have been dreaming about the sacred love that we feel coming into its place and being able to feel it and inhabit it and become an instrument of that energy. And, Marie Antoinette Spirit's talking again about washing the feet. It's interesting that the experience that you had as you came on your journey and you came full circle back to the thing that you knew you were carrying, the power of the sacred feminine for healing. To be a portal for people to experience that sacred ceremony is very profound. And you've been dreaming, right? So, another reminder from Spirit, dream deep. Ask for some astral travel. Ask for some sacred dreams. Ask for the inspiration to come and the help and the guidance that you will need and the ability to be rooted in that which you believe in your heart. Okay? Because that's what this is about. The male energy going very deep. And when the portal opens, being able to see both sides across the veil and come into, Spirit's calling it the genius set point of the male energy. That's what's happening on the earth. So there's a little bit more messaging about, make sure in these moments to stay grounded in this place. And if you feel the desire, it will be very helpful to take these notions and send them out on the vibratory pathway to all persons who are in leadership positions. Because of all the alignments that are happening, they need it now more than ever because they're going through hell, aren't they? All of them. And they are being challenged in these ways. So the bridge card is the beautiful keeper. It's a major arcana card, right? The keeper of harmony. The moment when we can bring this notion from the sacred realm, again, male energy, into a place of central, Spirit's calling it function. Okay, the strategy with which we do life now. I'm being corrected. With which the male energy pattern is able now to have its intention set in this way. And, right below it is the courtship of knowledge. This is the keeper of harmony. So, when the moments of yin-yang activation actually literally happen, this is part of what goes forward. And Spirit's talking all about the male energy today, which is no surprise to me because the card that came to me was the goddess of sovereignty. And what happens when the feminine portal opens and the male energy is allowed to finally, having been through its own process, move itself into the position to be able to participate in the flow of the yin and yang energy. And that's what's happening. I mean, when you see all of the outcry that's going on and the force of the male energy responding to some of the things that are happening that are a little bit horrific in these moments, right? It is taking up that position and moving it forward that has caused the male energy to finish its development and be able to understand, Spirit saying within themselves, what is the way the desire is for the male pattern energy to be present. How would you like that energy to be present? There's a lot of discussion coming through. It's getting late, so I don't have time for that. Okay? Spirit says, but you know what I'm talking about. All right. So again, more discussion about male patterned energy. Look at that. All of you magicians out there, that is Merlin. This is the dialogue of skill. It's clearly Merlin is being transformed. Male energy, having a discussion with itself. Merlin got his own PTSD, and one of his friends had to go out and retrieve him because he was wandering through the world without focus, without purpose. And this focused male energy, went out and said, "Hey, Merlin, come on, let's have a chat." And so the dialogue of skill is all about what it takes, where you've been, and what it takes to recapture yourself and come home and to rebuild your life. So it's interesting in these moments of the return of the goddess that we're talking so much about the male energy set point, and that the power of the moment is coming through Cancer with Pluto standing across the sky. That's about male energy. It just is. And I know there are a lot of people who will disagree with me. That's fine. But that's how it feels to me. That's the moment. That's why Pluto is there assisting it. The Lord of the underworld standing above the sky on the earth in this moment when the portal opens and it's Cancer energy is the tsunami that comes in. Wow, do I love that. I'm really excited about it. All right, so here we go. All this male energy in the eclipse, okay, arising in a sense into the place where the feminine portal opens to receive it. And that brings forward the liberation of the devotion of the male energy set point and the type of story that we saw in that card, right? They align with each other. The male energy learns to look past the illusion of what presents itself and becomes able to apply love to that which horrifies it. And when that happens, everything is transformed. It's a magical, mystical moment that we're standing in, okay? And of course, another card about clearing away the obstacles. I have this notion in my head now that, you guys know these cards, right? So our conversations can begin to deepen because I don't really need to explain them anymore. But in case you don't know, the King of Art. Standing here, and that story, the goddess of sovereignty, the combat, right? Her purpose was to awaken the male energy so that it could finish its journey. And what happens in the end of that fairy tale is the young man who was able to use the male power to pierce through the illusion rose to be the king. And what Spirit's telling us, it's not about power. The power is going to be inherent. It is about art, the art of living, the art of spiritual being and set point, right? Connected to the mystical realm, having the sacred spirit that clears away obstacles, and the ability to find the path forward. As a woman, I love that this is male energy doing the pathfinding. Because you know what? I can relax. I'm here to open the portal. It is the male energy that is meant to carry that which comes through it forward. Obviously, as a feminine set point, I assist that. But one of the things that's out of balance in this world is that stuff. Spirit's telling me resist the urge. Maybe for those people who come here for a journey, we'll have time to talk about all this stuff, okay? Spirit's saying we're going to be staying up all night and watching the moon rise and etc. So understand the concept, Spirit's saying, okay? And there's the outcome. Check it out. That thing that I was saying about helping each other's garden grow and, whoops, I'm going in the wrong direction. All that stuff. There's the sacred woman, female energy, all right? The woman of battle. Standing in this place, fully in her own power, just watching the winds of change arrive with her hand open, ready to receive that which is coming. She's been prepared. Spirit's saying, the feminine energy, it's kind of been off. Like I was away from here for a while. There were things going on, right? In this moment, the feminine energy returns into this realm in order to meet the sacred male that is undergoing its own transformation, and the yin-yang turns. And the feminine energy inhabits the full light of its own tapestry, Marie Antoinette, you and I were talking about that a little bit, right? Athena, the notion of the warrior goddess. So all the ways in which we see male energy displayed in these cards are the types of things that are arising here. That is my belief. Basically, the male energy set point fully inhabiting its own internal yin and yang to have a conversation with itself and experience its own transformation as it meets the feminine portal. And together they go forward in this new way. So look at the center row of cards and understand the meaning of that, Spirit says. So I'm going to toggle back. I'm going to look at the chat, okay? Just see if there's any questions that have come through, etc. Mary, love your rising is Sag. Yeah, there's something going on with the Sag energy. That's going to come to the surface at some point. Janine, yeah, it's